Hello, Benjies. Welcome to the BingeWorthy podcast, part of the Geekish Network. At the BingeWorthy podcast, we binge watch a television show to let you know if you should do it. My name is Johnny Randolph, or you can just call me Randy, and I've got my illustrious co-host here, Chuck. Say what's up to the people.
What it do, people?
Erica, say what's up to the people.
Hello, Governor.
Today, we will be reviewing HBO Max's Velma. HBO Max's Velma has 10 episodes with a runtime of about 30 minutes. The series, it is an alternate universe origin story of the Mystery Inc. crew, pitched as a love quadrangle between them. It primarily focuses on Velma as she tries to solve the mystery regarding the disappearance of her mother, as well as numerous other murders. Now, we are going to take the time and we are going to give our initial rating. So we're going to turn it over to our technical director, Rodney. How did each of us rate Velma?
Can't wait to see this.
Are we? Oh, do we got it yet? Because I don't see it.
Yeah, it's up.
It's up. Okay, let me make sure. I'm gonna go in here and look at it now. See what we got.
Oh yeah.
See, I don't see it.
Snack. Get to hit live, Randy.
Hit live. Okay. I see it now. All right. So I gave it a snack. Chuck gave it a snack. And Ricard just chose violence.
Yes.
Cringeworthy.
He chose violence today. He gave it a cringeworthy. So what's that? All right. So a snack. It's 5. Divided by 3. So that gives us 1.66. We can round that up to a snack. So right now we're giving Velma a snack. All right, fellas, let's talk about this. So I'll start with you first, Chuck. Were you fans of the original Scooby-Doo show?
I love the original Scooby Doo show. And that's where a lot of my problems came from is that I love the original show. The show was my business. I used to watch it religiously, like every day. Every day, Scooby got watched. I used to want to name my first dog Scooby, but my older brother would not allow that to happen.
Cricket?
Cricket. Yep, I wanted to name Cricket Scooby, and he wouldn't let that happen. Scooby or Kermit. Those are the two names I had. And what else does a 3-year-old come with? That's what a 3-year-old comes with, right? And then the 3-year-old's fault. That's what a 3-year-old comes with. So, I really love the original. I love the remakes of the original up to like the last 4 remakes, which has been happened like 20 times.
Okay. So, Rakai, were you a fan?
Absolutely. I was a fan of the entire, like, and just like Chuck said, I mean, I've been a longtime fan. I've loved just about all the remakes and stuff. I don't know. I think I'm one of the people, I don't like Scrappy Doo. So you can keep Scrappy. Not a fan of
I
Scrappy.
love Scrappy Doo.
I love Scrappy too. Yeah, like come on, Uncle
I
Scooby.
think it's just, you know what I'm saying? Like it's I think it was too much. You know what I'm saying? When you give me a little taste of it, okay. But it's always too much. It was like that annoying, little cousin you got or something. Like it was just too much.
And I hear people say that all the time, but like he was such a contrast to Snoopy. Like Snoopy was always high and he was cowardly until he got his Snoopy snacks. But Scrappy came out.
Scooby.
Snoopy,
Yeah.
Scooby. Yeah.
Yeah. Scrappy
Scooby
always
came out
wanted all
choosing
the smoke.
violence.
He wanted all the smoke.
He
all
wanted
the time.
all of he chose violence every single day.
But it was all the time. You know what I'm saying? They the mystery Inc. They solving crimes and Scrappy's out here on some, some rah-rah dumb stuff. Like, no.
He wanted to put them hands on. He came out in the 80s. He knew
Yeah,
he
man.
was a latchkey kid. He knew what was out here.
Got to the end, tell a friend. Yeah, man. There was no back down from Scrap. All right.
Scooby and Scrappy, a Scrappy puppy hour. I remember it. And I used to love it.
Yeah, man. Okay, so Chuck, we'll start with you. So, how did you feel, or how did you think Velma did in establishing its own identity away from the original Scooby-Doo?
It kind of obliterated Scooby-Doo altogether. It had the color scheme of the Scooby-Doo characters, but nothing of the Scooby-Doo characters whatsoever that made them beloved. You think those characters came out in 1969, and they've been making original shows, at least 13 original shows for the last until 20 what was it 20 what was 2020 2020 they had an original show, and then she came along and said, I'm just going to take the original color scheme of the outfits of the characters and make completely different characters.
So I'm gonna say, Rakai, it begs the question. I heard you say, did we need a reimagining prequel show of the original Scooby-Doo?
Absolutely not. Absolutely. Like, there's just some things, and I understand that you want to make things available to a new generation, and I want you want to introduce things to a new generation, and with that new generation, society has changed so much that the new societal norms. But this a love quadrangle, like there was so much going on in this mess, and I think when we had a previous conversation, we talked about the only reason to use an IP and not make it original is so that the audience doesn't have to wonder about the motivations and things behind the characters. But to Chuck's point, she obliterated that. So they barely resembled the characters that we grew to love. Like, and on top of the fact, you gave me Velma, but you gave me Mystery Inc. with no Scooby whatsoever. Scooby was an acronym for an experiment or something. But stop it. I just Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Yeah,
Go
it
ahead,
was.
Chuck. You were about to say something?
I was gonna say like this show suffered by being called Scooby Doo.
Well,
I
it's
think
not called Scooby Doo. I think in our minds, though,
Velma. You're
called
right.
Velma.
But there is a Velma and Daphne movie, which is the origin story of Scooby Doo, which
Mhm.
made sense.
And they
It
just came out with an origin movie. What about 2 or 3 years ago, right? Because Shaggy was in space and all of that. Yeah.
they have one where Scooby met Shaggy in
Mm-hmm.
the park. 'Cause Scooby was on Venice Beach stealing hot dogs, and
Right.
he met a kid named Shaggy, and they
Mm-hmm.
became friends.
And
And
so,
let's not forget, Shaggy is not even in this. We have Norville.
Yes,
which
yes,
Norval is
his
his
phone
name,
is
right? That
Shaggy.
is his name,
Yeah,
but
that is his name.
yeah, but he does become Shaggy. So it is a prequel. It is a prequel, and we see some hints of the later show later on in the
Mm-hmm.
show. But I thought that maybe this show suffered from being a remake of Scooby Doo. I question why didn't they just create another IP to go along with this? Because as you all were saying, it obliterated the prototypes that we had for this show. Rakai, why do you think they just didn't create another IP for this show?
Because this show had how many episodes? 8, 10?
10. It had 10.
It wouldn't have made it past episode 3.
Because it was so bad or the lack of popularity?
No, okay, so let's say they're dropping it on HBO Max, right? It's only picked up by HBO Max because it's based on Scooby Doo. Um,
And
if
Warner Sons
not,
have
if not, then let's say it's an original IP. So then it would probably been on Netflix. But when you got F is for family, you got Big Mouth, you got Human Resources, you got a lot of things out there that are irreverent and basically R-rated animated comedies. This one would have suffered and no one would have watched it. A lot of us, we watched it out of the the morbid mere curiosity of what are they doing with these characters that we grew up with and loved.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only reason that we watched this. If this was just some animated show, that with completely different named characters and they're not based on Scooby Doo, we wouldn't have watched this. Someone told us like, yeah, that's trash. I'm not watching that. And the only reason that this came off and has already been granted a season 2 is because of the controversial nature of what they have done to the characters that we've come to know and love.
Okay. We'll
You know,
talk about some of those characters.
all news ain't, what I'm saying, bad news is still news. So, controversy sells.
I want to actually plus one that, and I think the second season is not going to tank, but it's going to come close to tanking.
Tanking as in they're going to intentionally try to tank it, or tanking as in just not going to be good?
I think it feels this. This is morbid of me to say this. I think Minnie Kaling wanted to do her original cartoon idea, and they're like, "No, we're going to give you a Scooby Doo cartoon. You're going to do a Scooby Doo." And she sat there and told that writing room, "Give me a Scooby Doo cartoon that's everything you love, the opposite of everything you love about Scooby Doo."
And it was like, and she didn't think that they would do it, and then they went ahead and did it.
No,
Maybe.
she
Okay.
made them do it.
Okay.
Made them do it. She knew they were going to do it. Like she purposely tanked this series. And I think as retribution, they're like, "Oh, OB, you think you're sharp on what you're doing here? We're going to give you another season of this."
That's an
On the second season.
thought. I just thought it would have been better along, because for me, it served as a distraction, because in my mind, and again, I grew up with Scooby-Doo the way you gentlemen did, and it just kept distracting for me because it's so different than what I was accustomed to. And it was almost like intentional that they wanted to mock everything about the original series. And so that's why I had problems with some of the choices that they made for this series.
Yeah. And
And the thing is, they tried to, especially again on HBO Max, they tried to take it almost in the same vein of what has been done to critically acclaimed to bravado level with Harley Quinn, but this is
Mhm.
not that. This is, it's not that at all. And at the rate that they're yanking shows off air today, especially streaming shows that even are becoming hit shows and have a great following, for whatever reason, a lot of them are not even making it past season one. So, ugh.
Okay. Uh, Speaking of animation, Chuck, were you impressed with the style of animation used for Velma?
It was very simple. There was nothing extraordinary coming out, but this show didn't call for anything extraordinary. Hand gestures, moving mouths. There's no really the action sequences, the fights and whatnot. They covered it up with like water sprinkles and soap, and everything was very close up done combat. So there wasn't a lot of animation in it, but it was the art style, which is called Cal art style. It was like a very advanced version of Cal art style, similar to Teen Titans Go,
Okay, I
but
was about to say, what's an example? Okay.
not as cartoony. And it's interesting. It was interesting because there was a lot of talking. There wasn't even a lot of running when they're running through the house of mirrors. It was like, let's poke fun of everything Scooby Doo.
Yeah.
Let's poke fun of everybody likes adult animation. So I was wondering, as I was watching, I was like, who is this for?
I asked the same question. That's what I said. It was a distract. Who is it
I
for?
had the same question. I couldn't tell what the
It's
demographic
like
was.
even when you watch Always Sunny in Philadelphia, all those characters are self-serving. Every single last one of them are self-serving, but they're loving characters. They care about each other. They just throw each other under the bus for every time something goes wrong.
Yeah,
And this, it was like, these are malicious people. Like Velma was one of the most, I hated her.
yeah, she was awful.
She was very self-serving, very single-minded, and she was the villain. And it's crazy. She was the villain through the whole entire series.
Yeah,
Yeah. And it's weird because I don't know. I have a thing for like nerdy outcasts, female characters that are young. Like I grew up watching Daria and I love Daria. I grew up Hermione Granger. And it's like Wednesday. Like she's outcast, she's in her own world doing her own thing. But with Velma, to me, she came off very unlikable in almost every single thing that she did. I didn't have, I mean, other than her wanting to find her mother, like I couldn't think of any redeeming quality that she had. So Rakai, for you, do you think the character Velma, played by Mindy Kaling, was strong enough to carry an entire series?
absolutely not. It's like you said, if she's supposed to be the protagonist, for whatever reason, she came off as the antagonist the entire show. She was very unlikable. Um, and I am further dismayed because, and we've talked about this before, out here looking for content that features people of color. This is a swing and a big miss. Like this, I cannot tell you how disappointed. I don't even know if I'm disappointed because I kind of knew this was going to be this bad, but just I am saddened that I can't get that 8 hours or whatever, 4.5 hours of my life back. Like this is, there's so many other wonderful things that I could have been doing. I could have been cutting my toenails.
Oh
I
Lord,
could have,
got it torn down.
yeah, rub my lower calves and lotion, shea butter or something.
Oh God.
Something I could have done besides watch this. This was,
But the question begs, and we talked about like people of color content. Mindy was not the writer of this. There was a white writer and
Yes.
showrunner behind this. And it sometimes I felt like the jokes were a little kind of like, I don't want to say woke, but like making fun
Yeah.
of popular
of
culture.
people of
And they
color.
just weren't landing. And yeah, and for me, like I think about this show as in I think about comparing it to Family Guy, how Family Guy takes his great lengths to make fun of pop culture. And it does it well with me. But I felt like for this series, a lot of those jokes just didn't land. And again, it harkened the question, who was the intended audience for those jokes? Because that one episode about when Velma, she dresses up as a man and she's giving orders and everybody's listening to her. And I'm like, you're a minority in this country. Minority men don't get that same sort of privilege in this world. So you said it is just a man, everybody's going to automatically listen to you. I felt that was a woke joke that didn't land.
It was a joke that doesn't play to people of color.
Right. It doesn't.
Everything people have said this. They went online, they talked about Mindy Kaling. They're like, she's everything that a white man is with the identity of a minority woman. She's just like white men, but she can get away with so much more because she's a woman. Not only she's a woman from a disenfranchised group. And she plays into that. Even on her own shows. Like the Mindy Kaling show, she played into that.
Yeah, but she always strikes me as that that everything she does is for validation from the Caucasian crowd and stuff, and it's not even rooted in her own culture. It's not for her own culture. It's not to shine any light on her or any other people of color's culture. It is for, it's I happen to be brown, but hey, I'm on you guys.
I'm not like the rest of them, right? I'm in, and that's the way I felt with a lot of those jokes. I was like, nah, that ain't how a lot of people of color see the world.
There's an Indian podcast that podcasters that I watched a skit on YouTube, and they talked about it, and they're like, Mindy Kaling is definitely not like one of us because she kind of sort of attacked people of color in this show. And
it was a lot of jokes, yeah.
Those sort of attacks on people of color, and it's dangerous. They talked about how dangerous some of these jokes were. Even it's like she's the minority person that sided with white people. Like she's the Candace Owens of Indian culture.
And it was like they used a person of color to tell those jokes because a white person would have been attacked. You can't attack them like, oh, she is a minority. You can't attack her for it. But it's like she was a puppet for a lot of their talking points.
Yes.
All right, let's try to find something. We've been pretty harsh on it so far. I'm gonna start with you, Chuck. Voice acting, it is a skill. Not everybody can do it. Not every actor can do it. So, what did you think about the quality of the voice acting for Velma?
Now, I think the Velma voice acting is really solid. Even Mindy Kaling did a great performance playing the voice of Velma. Clint Horton did a great job of Fred. Sam Richardson did a great job of Norval. And Constance Wu played Daphne. And I think they did color coordinated casting, which actually landed perfectly.
I'm a fan.
Wanda Sykes too. Wanda Sykes nailed it too out there.
I think all of them.
Hold on. Wanda Sykes and Jane Lynch.
Charlie Quinn.
What'd you say, Rakai?
Sorry about that.
Yeah, and Wanda Sykes has been nailing it since. Wanda Sykes has been nailing just about everything she's been in here lately.
Last 30 years.
Yeah.
But Wanda Sykes and Jane Lynch as the two moms of Daphne were great.
Yeah.
They were great. And I was like, they should have had more screen time because they were great.
Absolutely. Great. I wanted to see more of them because I was getting a little bored with the rest. I was like, let's bring Wanda and her back and her partner back in. That
Jane Lynch and Wanda Sykes, that hilarious.
Yeah.
Hilarious women. Did you know that what was her name? Gigi, I think Norval's girlfriend was Yvonne Orji.
Was it Yvonne?
Yes, I knew that. I did know that. I did know that. Yeah. From Insecure, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. Orville's got this hot black chick that's madly in love with him. And he keeps blowing her off. At that point, I was like, I am done with this guy.
Well, Norval's always been in love with Daphne since they've been little kids, though. Too.
I get it.
It's crushed their entire lives. And what made me mad was I didn't know why anybody liked her because she was such a despicable character. Like,
despicable?
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't like her, but I wouldn't say despicable.
Despicable.
Yes, I would say despicable. And I was like, she's not kind at all. It'd be different if she had moments of kindness. she had like helped him out a
Right.
little.
I agree. I agree. I agree.
Even when she had moments of kindness, they seemed more manipulative and
It was.
self-serving to me. They didn't seem like they were kind. They seemed like they seemed kind because they were self-serving.
Yes, yes, and she was self-serving in those moments. I think that she was very self-serving in
Because I
those.
thought it was so disingenuous. She hands Fred the book where he reads about feminism, and now he's all woke, and now he's falling in love with Velma too. Gag, gag, vomit, vomit. Like, stop it.
Yeah, the book was real and everything. I was like, that's not how any of that works.
That's not how anybody works,
I
right?
think
Nope.
we're poking fun at all the progress that we have made as people.
Eh,
And it was like there's no outcome for it. It was like somebody came off the January 6th trial when they were in prison for January 6th and wrote this whole entire show
Mm-hmm.
as a love letter to
Right.
everything in America.
The satire just did not land. They were trying to make all these jokes on that, and we know, like, and I'm not trying. It's a cartoon. It's a silly
Okay.
cartoon at
Can,
that.
can,
But
we get back to the, can I get back to the voice acting really quick?
oh yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
The supporting cast had Russell Peters in it. It
Yeah,
had
that's her father.
Wynn in it. Kevin Leong in it, Cherry Jones in it, Nicole Byer, Gary Cole, Weird Al Yankovic was in this.
Who was
Yeah,
Weird Al?
Weird Al was dangerous.
the guy that played in the band that
He was
always got injured.
guy.
Oh, that's funny. That's actually funny.
Fortune Femster was Olive, Yvonne Orgy. We already mentioned that. Carl Anthony Towns. They had an all-star
The
cast.
basketball player?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was Jock Bow,
everybody played
the
the
basketball
role.
player, the big athletic black guy at the school.
Oh, I didn't know that. I gotta look at the rundown sheet more. Okay.
They had an amazing voice cast. It's like HBO was like, take our money.
On top of since the show was introduced in 1969, was it Frank Welker has been always been the voice of Fred. For
Mhm.
this show, he backed off of playing Fred and played Fred's father.
Which I thought he looks like
Yeah.
Fred. Is Fred mature? He looks like Fred, and he sounded like it, which I thought was a good choice too.
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic to have him representing the cast.
And the Orville's father looks like Shaggy from the original one. I don't know what
That
that
was
was.
played by Gary Cole, and I think I almost think that was a wasted, because Gary Cole is fantastic. Like, he should have done more.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we agree. Good choices for the voice act.
Nailed it.
Yeah,
Whoever did the casting for that gets an A+. They have a lot. They have a string of voice actors. Everybody landed the voice acting on par with something like Harley Quinn.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
it was not Harley Quinn. It was not as charming.
No, it was not Harley Quinn at all.
no, because it doesn't matter who you hire to do the voices; they still got to read what's on the script.
They do.
And Harley Quinn stays in the Harley Quinn universe. It's not trying to be a political satire. It's in the Harley Quinn universe. This show didn't stay in the Scooby-Doo universe.
It didn't define the characters too. I feel like I didn't know the characters outside of all of them being selfish and self-serving. And the pretty mean girl is not really not that mean. She just had an asshole best friend,
which was Velma. So
who also loved her.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Okay. All right, so we have a lot of plot points out here for this season. We've got Daphne. She's an orphan being raised by two same-sex parents. Orville's being taken for granted by Velma. Fred's incompetent. So we've got a lot of plot points out here. Chuck, give me a plot point that stood out to you, whether it hurt the show in your opinion or helped the show.
I would say the plot point that hurt the show was actually when she thought it was probably her stepmother who was pregnant, might have been involved somehow with the crime of killing these young girls. And I think that plot point hurt me the most, because her father was like, your mother just left us. she left us, and you can't get it through your thick skull that your mother left us. She went to work one day, and sure, I was a neglectful dad. I was busting my ass working as a minority, trying to supply for the family, and I was absent. I was an absentee father, but your mother chose to leave us. And then that made me realize that I kind of needed you because you were all I had until I met this other woman who's kind of hot. And I got pregnant.
I don't know if she was kind of hot. Was she hot? Do we think the stepmom was hot?
She was hot. She was hot. You know, she turned her actual diner turned into a strip club. I thought that was weird too when they turned it into a strip club.
The kids patronize mostly.
Velma got up on the pole. That I mean, even
Yeah,
for a
get her
cartoon,
dad's attention and the
cringy.
place her stepmother works at.
I do think that was a spoof, like, cause 90210, you know, I'm white. I used to watch 90210. The Peach Pit that they used to go to in high school was real popular. Then when they went to college, it became a nightclub. So I think they were kind of taking these kind of 90s tropes and kind of playing with.
They did the same thing with Saved by the Bell and
Saved by the Bell, yeah.
what's Family Matters, a little spot that they used to hang
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
So,
Right. So I think that was just a callback to that with them taking the teenagers hangout and then turning them into like adult establishments.
Yeah. But a nightclub and a gentleman's club are way too far different.
Well, you know, it's got to play it up. It's animated. It's got to play it up.
They played up everything. It's like they're making fun of everything that we loved in the 80s and 90s, and they made fun of all of it.
That's the thing. Should it have been a love letter or making fun of? And that's what I felt like they didn't respect it. I felt like they didn't respect anything that came before it. And that was part of the problem. If they would have just been doing call outs as a love letter to these kind of tropes, I would have been fine with it. But I just thought they didn't respect it, so they didn't care anything about it.
yeah, but even deeper than that, not only did they not respect, you know, a lot of these different tropes and a lot of these different, you know, pop culture references that are in the show, it seemed like they didn't even respect the source material that they were dealing with to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I can't expect them to, you know, respect a lot of that stuff because they have completely disrespected, you know, the Scooby Doo gang.
Okay.
I think that's the takeaway word here is disrespect. It was like, let's disrespect everybody that likes adult animation. Let's disrespect everybody that loves Scooby Doo. Let's disrespect anybody that will watch this show because they love Scooby Doo and adult animation, which would be mean for this because Scooby Doo's always targeted young children and tweens.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I think you're right because this show to me it feels like it was made by people who don't watch cartoons, who don't watch anime, who hated Scooby Doo. Like it's almost like, oh, we gotta do this show. All right, watch this that we can throw out here.
Well, back what Chuck said earlier, like it was intentional. She was like, I want to do something. It's like, no, you're gonna do a Scooby Doo. It's like, okay, I'll do a Scooby Doo. I'll turn all of it on his ass and have no love for it. So, Rakai, what about you? We got a lot of plot points going out there. Give me a plot point for you that stood out, whether it hurt the show or helped the show for you.
I mean, it's almost like, you know, the only thing that made the show better is when I closed my eyes. That's
Lord.
Plot point, I really hated when she found her mother and her mother came home and she, you know, like she went back to, she tore up their house and poured liquor everywhere to show, hey, we're poor. And this feels just like home, Mom. Like, I hated that. I hated she kicked Sophie and the baby out, you know, to protect her mom's memory. And then the whole about that was her baby. So now she's a teen mom. And I hated all of that.
We did get a lot there. We were teen mom, then she lied, then Velma lied on Shaggy, said it was, but Shaggy took it like a trooper. I felt he was the most overlooked character in this. He was so down for Velma. So down for her.
He's ride or die for her. I don't know what she did
until he wasn't.
Yeah.
He was transferring schools until he wasn't. He left it on his voicemail. If this is Velma, you're gonna burn in the pit of hell.
But that was still just hurt. That was just hurt. Them hurt feelings coming out. Like I said, I'm still mad at him for not hooking up with the black chick. who so wanted him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, fam, what are you seeing in her that
Since
Yeah.
elementary school, so he was just in
Yeah.
that
That'd
trauma.
change.
He was in that trauma loop. Didn't
Yeah,
get
even like when he went to the cabin, that would have changed his whole life.
Yeah, they went
that's
camping.
what I'm saying. I'm like, yeah, fam.
I
So
like the fact his girlfriend took up for him though. She was like, "I gotta speak for you because this girl's been manipulating you your whole entire life, and you don't see it."
And she was ride or die till the very end, even in like episode 9 or 10 when they're in the shower. She's like, you have been mistreating Orville
best thing
from
that
day one. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
she was ride or die. It reminds me of and maybe that was the trope, like the Family Matters trope, how, like Urkel always pursued Laura, and he had the one black chick, Myra, who was super hot,
And she was
super fine, and she was ride or die for her, for him. And he was kind of like, well, I'll mess with you until Laura comes around.
Yep. Yep.
Maybe that again, they're playing with these tropes that we had, but they do it in such a way. Either they can't stick the landing with them or they don't care to stick
I thought one thing that was interesting, it didn't really mess up the show, but I thought it was interesting that like Norval, Shaggy's whole demeanor. Like, he went the whole show talking about he hates drugs and he hates this. Like, he's very straight laced the entire show.
Mm-hmm.
But by the end, so much had happened that his anxiety is whooping his ass. And even his father says to him at the very end, hey, you ever thought about marijuana? Because his dad is, what I'm saying, from the 60s, probably flower child. And, that's how we end up with, the rumors always that Shaggy's
Absolutely
high as giraffe ass.
And he is. So are we saying, or are you saying, Mr. Steve, that Velma caused Shaggy to start smoking weed because of the anxiety that he received from his relationship with her?
I mean, from this train wreck of a show, it seems highly likely. Like, it would not surprise me. I mean, I could see every character attached to Velma in a serious amount of therapy. Do that little girl.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's interesting because at the beginning of the show, she starts talking about how she's been overlooked. The character of Velma's been overlooked. And, it's not a story about like white people or the pretty girl. I'm the bone behind this. I'm the backbone behind this. But like, no, all you did was create a lot of trauma for every single body that was in the crew. And they still messed with you.
Yeah. I got mad at people for still fooling with Velma. When
Yeah.
she caught Shaggy that $1 million when he was in the championship of his fencing match,
Yeah.
I've been stabbed her with one of them damn rapiers.
But Chuck, I'm going to ask you, is there potential redemption for Velma in a season 2? Because it has already been renewed for season 2.
Has been renewed, but that doesn't mean anything with HBO Max.
That's true.
That means absolutely nothing. I think it probably will have a season 2 because she probably said season 2 the show flips on its head and turns into a Scooby-Doo show. But I think what's going to happen is going to have low viewers because everybody that viewed this, everybody that loves Scooby-Doo, and there's young and old, they didn't find, and they knew this was targeting adults, and they're like, okay, I can watch it as an adult. This is gonna be an adult version, so it's gonna be funny. It's gonna be silly like Scooby-Doo, but it's gonna be very adult, kind of like how Harley Quinn was.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was very adult, but it was hilarious. I was in stitches watching it, and nothing in this was funny. Nothing.
And go ahead. No, go ahead.
I think they have to hire better writers to make this funny to save it. It has to be funny. They have to hire not Dave Chappelle, but somebody that's just laugh out loud funny all the time. Nobody actually that brings cultural references into it to be funny to save this show. This show cannot be. They're going to need somebody like what's his name? His daughter's name's Robin Williams to write this show.
Well, one of the things I think though that they need to do,
write this show.
Yeah, that they need to do is we keep talking about Harley Quinn, and I'm just going to throw it out there.
Uh-huh.
The Harley Quinn show, that first crew with what the little midget man and who else was King Shark, Harley, they were a real family. You were cheering for them even though you knew they were villains.
And they
You
were fighting for their respect.
They were right, and they had a common goal that they could all coalesce around. And Harley was a good person to them. She was a good person to Ivy, like to them. Where Velma, you see, she just treats everybody like shit. And we don't see any coalesced around any reason. We all watched this and said, why are they even friends with her? Like why are they hanging out? So why am I going to invest another year in hoping that she changes? And maybe she doesn't. We don't even know if she does.
They bring Tina Fey on as the writer. They would have to bring a Tina Fey on.
I think Tina Fey is a good option. Turn her into turn her into a Liz Lemon almost type, and then you can build something.
Yeah, but based on what we said earlier, I don't know if it just be pride. I don't think Mindy Kaling wants that. I don't even know if she wants the show to be a success. And I don't know if her pride will allow her to let a Tina Fey or somebody else come in and be the savior of the damn show.
She's not the showrunner. She's the star, but she's not the showrunner. So I'm wondering, does she have a choice even in that discussion? Real quick, go ahead. Go ahead, Chuck.
Is she one of the producers on the show?
I believe she's one of the producers. She's not the showrunner. I know that. And a producer, they could have given her a producer credit because she's Mindy Kaling.
Because she's like, if I'm going to be a part of the show, I need a producer credit. She could have. You're absolutely
right. Yeah. Real quick, if we're not doing it for BingeWorthy, you want to see season 2? You want to watch a season 2, Chuck?
I'm still curious. My morbid curiosity wants to see.
Oh, Lord. We don't want it to kill you.
I don't want to hate watch it because I think they purposely made this show the hate watch. It feels like they leaned in like, let's create a show that everybody's going to hate watch and see how stupid the world is.
Okay. Right.
And I feel like they purposely made the show to hate watch.
Decisions that they made were definitely intentional. Yeah.
Because I do love Scooby-Doo. I just watched the Scooby and Scrappy movie where they're little kids, and it's so silly and goofy, and I laughed out loud. I just laughed out loud.
That's my guy. Raquel, what about you? We're not doing it for BingeWorthy. You interested in watching season 2?
Absolutely not. Hell no.
Y'all didn't want to see if they can land the plane and right the ship?
I'll let y'all tell me about it. Or somebody else is watching it. Hell no. I will watch old Scooby-Doo movies. Me and the kids love Scooby-Doo, the one with rock and roll, something with Kiss. Mm-hmm. The kids even like the Scooby-Doo movie with the WWE. They love that shit. Like,
I remember Scooby-Doo with everybody. It was with Mr. T. The A-Team was on one. The Harlem Globetrotters was on one. I'm talking old school.
Makes it bad because Charlie Grandy, it lets me know so much about Charlie Grandy and his political thoughts behind this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Showrunner, and he's the writer behind a lot of it. And it's like, wow, I wouldn't expect you because you wrote great episodes for Saturday Night Live. You wrote great skits for Saturday Night Live. Great episodes for The Office. Even Guys with Kids is okay. It's fun. I'm just looking at some of the stuff he did, 4 Weddings and a Funeral. I was like, he did 2 episodes of that. Like, okay. And I'm like, what happened here? This was so harsh. It was a harsh show. Harsh is the word I would like to use. It was harsh.
I don't know. Is it one of those situations where it's, saying too many cooks in the kitchen? Everybody had a producer's credit, and they throwing their weight around. They can come to a consensus on something.
536 episodes of The Daily Show.
But maybe that was the problem. It shouldn't have been The Daily Show. Why is a Daily Show writer writing for Scooby-Doo?
But, he wrote the Daily Show 2001. He did it for only 10 years, but still.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like, that's not what Scooby-Doo is.
No, he's not right now.
Those were during the Jon Stewart years?
I think before the Jon Stewart years. I felt attacked on this show.
That's what I'm saying. Like, why not create Scooby-Doo, the whole world? You're just supposed to have fun with the show. You can make it outrageous. Why do we get all this attempted satire for this IP?
Harsh satire.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So maybe like hiring a person with not like that Daily Show background to be the writer and the showrunner for it. Maybe it changes the tone of the show.
Because satire has a sense of irony and sarcasm to it. And I don't think this was that. I think this was, I'm just mean.
Yeah.
I hate everything about this. I hate people that like this type of show.
Right. For a show that's completely about not being mean.
Yes.
The roots of it is completely about not being mean.
Scooby and Shaggy, they do Scooby snacks because they high as hell.
That's it. Yeah. They don't even want to be involved in the mystery. They get high and then Snoopy like, well, I didn't hate. I guess I need to hate. Like.
Yeah, they go and destroy kitchens.
Yeah.
Oh, they go eat. They get the munchies, go eat. And they're very helpful in solving the mystery. They're very helpful.
Later on, they're helpful, but until they get their
episode,
until they take a few and start eating, they're useless.
Now we're ready.
Yeah.
They have anxiety and stuff, and Velma's always serious, and Daphne's the quiet, pretty girl, and Fred's just the guy to protect those two women. Like he's like chivalrous,
and
they
are his beard.
You even see how they played out at the end of this first season, like a lot of things that explain the characters that we know. You know what I'm saying? Like with Velma, she got the high from solving the mystery, so now she wants to solve them. Fred and started solving mysteries. You see Shaggy's dad introduce weed to him. Daphne is becoming a badass. Her mom, she don't want to feel helpless anymore, and that's the last iteration that we got of those characters in the movies. But it just, none of this moves me.
Yeah, to get me to that point, you'd have to do all these other.
You didn't have to destroy it to get me to that point. You didn't. Even the stuff with the bats coming out and the mystery machine and all of that. You didn't just have to totally take a crap on it to say this is how these characters evolve to what we know.
It was like Michael Bay doing Transformers to me.
Mm-hmm.
It was probably worse than Michael Bay doing Transformers.
Very simple. A lot of people like the first movie, if it was nothing more than nostalgia. Just to see Optimus Prime and them on
That's
screen.
What got me, and I didn't even like it, but you're 100% right. That's what got me. I was like,
this didn't have any redeeming. Like I really couldn't find anything to like about this. I can't imagine giving another 4 or 5 hours of my life to see what happens in season 2.
What boosted my score up from a cringeworthy was the last episode and me hoping they do better. Like, I hope that Charles and them do better the second episode, in the second season. And I'm going to start the second season. I'm going to give it a whirl. Because I'm like, you didn't have to do these characters that way. These are beloved characters. And I didn't have a problem with gender switching or race switching. I don't have a problem with any of that. I have no problem with diving into their relationships with one another. I don't have a problem with that. But what you did was like, let's make it gratuitous.
It was
just for the sake of being gratuitous.
Right. It added no value to it. And then we're going to make fun of it because what we thought about it because it is gratuitous. It's just like, nah.
Y'all make something like this.
So I finished watching the last 2 episodes earlier today. And immediately after that, I emailed Rodney to give him my score. And I gave him a 1, a snack. 37 seconds later, I re-emailed him and I said, no, nope. About more than just that last episode. How did I feel on the first 9 episodes or whatever, the first 7 episodes? Hell no. Give this shit a 0.
But cringeworthy's a 1 technically. They get a 1 for it. All right, so we're gonna re-rate it. I feel like I know what you're gonna say, but I am going to give you the opportunity to re-rate it. So, how are you going to re-rate Velma?
Well, in light of what you just said, since I did give it a 1, a cringeworthy, is it possible for me to give it a 0?
Technically, no.
I did
no.
I did want to have some
Yeah.
old shit, but they wouldn't let me have that,
What?
Rakai.
Yes,
I
I feel
tried
like
to take cringeworthy down to a 0 too. Y'all like we need 5. Yeah, so
yeah, like if everything
I got vetoed on some old bullshit.
yeah, if our ratings are based on food levels, I feel like a 0 is, you ordered your food, but then they closed the restaurant and they didn't nobody brought you shit. You just sitting at the table. Like this is it. I'm sitting at the table. I'm ready to eat, but they shut the kitchen down. Nah, mm-mm.
Mhm.
I mean, if I gotta give it a 1, I guess that's what it is. It is cringeworthy. I can't get that.
we got guests. So Peter Griffin, who is a friend of the show, he says Jiggity, Scooby and Shaggy have to find their vibe first, then they turn into Sherlock Holmes.
That is
Right,
true.
that's true. Right, that's what we said. They hit a little bit, Scooby here take a few tracks, and they like, it's on. Let's do this.
It's ready.
Yeah, yeah, they're only part-time cowards at that point.
Yeah, right. They like, yo, we gonna figure this out.
Oh,
So
they're not cowards at all. They do the smart thing. If a ghost is chasing me, I'm running.
Yeah.
You know,
Which makes so much more sense
Total
now
sense.
because now that we find out that Norval, that Shaggy is black, because
that makes so much sense.
he's like, I'm gonna live through this movie. I'm not dying in the credits.
I done it right.
Probably was meant to be blacks, but since it's 1969, they couldn't make him black, and
Mhm.
it just makes total sense. That's why they made
And
his
I'm
dog.
fine with Norval being black, or Shaggy being black. I'm fine with I'm fine with all it. It's just it was something missing. Chuck, all right, we're gonna let you go.
I wonder if they even bring in Scooby in season 2.
I would imagine they have to, but who knows?
I don't know what they're do to Scooby. What was, they're flipping the whole series. What Scooby's just an asshole ass dog. He's like a pit bull.
And that's probably what they would make. They probably make Scooby a pit bull. It's super aggressive and shit. Yeah, that's
Yeah, he's a poop that kills kids.
They'll be
But like he's like a hip hop version of something, like he's Scooby Doo or something like that. Yeah. I would not doubt it. I would not doubt it. But Chuck, how you gonna re-rate it?
After talking through this with you guys, I'm moving down to a cringeworthy. I wanted to. I was hoping to find something redeeming in this show, and I felt attacked. Can I be honest? I felt attacked.
And Peter again says, just don't make Scooby a cat. Lord God, please don't make Scooby a cat.
They make him a gerbil. They make him a chihuahua that attacks children. I can see it happening right now.
And he's got to have, oh God, no, God.
I may watch it for that.
Oh God.
Then they make Scrappy a French bulldog or something.
Oh Lord. Oh God. All right. So I am going to go ahead. I'm gonna bring it down to we did have good voice acting. That was a positive that we had.
I gave it
we thought they killed it as far as voice acting. But other than that, there just wasn't a lot of redemption. And I don't want to be like negative on things, but yeah, I thought this was a big miss. This was a big miss.
A huge miss. And Harley Quinn doesn't have like the best voice actors, not like this. Like they brought a whole squad for this voice acting.
Yeah, they had a lot of talent.
Known for voice acting, right?
And voice acting is not easy. It is not easy. Not everybody who's a good actor can do it, and they killed it with this one.
Like Bale kills it, Harley Quinn kills him, Alan Tudyk, whatever, he kills everything. Rob Finches kills it.
So
Tony Hale kills it. Like you put these shows side by side, and I felt like one team beloved the material and said, "Let's turn DC on top of his head and let's have fun with it." And they took it there.
And one team wanted to make fun of the people who like
everybody that would love this show.
Like
the target audience. Who's the target audience? Let's make them feel like shit.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, so that's going to give us a total score of a cringeworthy. Rodney, if you want to throw that up there for us, if you're out there. Yeah, so we did have it as a snack. We rounded it up to a snack, but we took it all the way down to a cringeworthy. Yeah. Ricardo, got anything to say before we head out?
No, no. I'm glad that this is over with. I usually have been on for full meals and binge worthy. So it was an interesting exercise to be on for cringeworthy.
This is your first cringeworthy, isn't it?
It is.
Okay.
It is, and it was glorious.
Yeah.
Chuck, you got anything to say before we head out, sir?
Yeah. Voice acting can't save everything.
Mm.
I mean, they embodied the characters. In the writing room controls everything of a show.
Yeah,
the
the
writing
actors
room
can't
lets
be.
you know everything relies on the writing room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In terms of
Okay. All right. Next week we are doing The Legend of Vox Machina. So season 2. I'm looking forward to this. I saw the first episode and woo! Anything like that first episode, they got dragons doing things that I didn't even know dragons could do, and I am all for it.
This episode, this season's off the chain.
Okay, we'll save it.
Don't talk about it.
We'll save it. We'll save it.
I saw that pilot and I was like, wow, I need a cigarette.
We're gonna save it. We're gonna save it. Cool. Shouts out to Rodney, our technical director. You know, he puts up our graphics. Shouts out to Digital Click. They provide our marketing materials. And shouts out to you, the audience. Thank you, Peter Griffin, and everybody that joins in and keeps coming back. The Geekish Network, we are for people of color. We want to create amazing content for people who look like you. So please support us. So we are on YouTube. Subscribe to YouTube and give us those likes. That helps the algorithm let us be able to be found by people. We're on Facebook and we're also on Twitch. So feel free to
share the stream.
Share the love, baby. Share the love. And until then, we'll be back at our regular time next week, Wednesday. Same geek time, same geek channel. The Legend of Vox Machina. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. We'll talk to you guys later. Peace.
Peace.
I really wanted to take this. I was hoping one of y'all convinced me to take it to a mini meal. I was hoping. I really maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm missing, things in the background that was clues or something that's really smart about the show. And it wasn't there.
I couldn't find it.
And the more I thought about it, because I watched the episode today, and I was like, I hope, I love the voice acting. And I was like, no. And